All right, let's get it kicked off. Welcome to Masterminds with James Allen. He is I and I am him. And today we got royalty. I'm just going to say that. We have royalty in today. This is the queen of Park Streets, the queen of Houston. Let me go ahead and before we get too far into it, let's go ahead and give the intro. So this lady here, so many accomplishments, so many things. She is the co-founder of Park Street Homes, which founded in 2016. She, prior to that, she was an early childhood education teacher and with an undergraduate from U of H, then later on received her master's degree at TSU. Um, with Park Street, I mean, if you guys from Houston and from the South region, if you guys haven't heard of them, you guys have been on a rock. They've been in Houston Chronicle, Fox 26, multiple publications, side by side with the mayor doing lunches and stuff like that, fine dining. They're doing some really awesome things, commendable things in our city, in our community. So Houston is very, very, very blessed to have these Aisha here. She's also, man, I was excited about this one. Recently, class of 2022, 40 under 40 at the Bauer School, U of H. So, man, congrats to that. I mean, this lady is awesome. She's also part of so many different groups. I don't know how she does it all, but she's part of the U of H Black Alumni Board, the scholarship chair and board member. She's a National Association for Education of Young Children. She's part of Houston Area Association for Education of your children. She's a board member there. Young Professional Toastmasters, two-term president there. Nixon Home Care Incorporated board member. And also she's a chairman of special events with the Junior League, co-chair of recruitment for Impact 100. Most importantly, this lady here is a mother, a wife, a sister, a daughter, so many things there, man. And so without, further hesitation, I want to welcome to the Masterminds podcast, Ayesha Shelton. How you doing, family?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh man, I'm super excited to have you here. And man, I can't wait to get into it. Before we get too far into this particular episode, I'd just like to say that this episode is brought to you by Southern House Buyers here in Houston, Texas. If you are looking to receive a cash offer for your property, please give us a call at 281-749-1680. We service all throughout Texas and in New Orleans, Louisiana. So, man, Aisha, how we doing? I mean, what's going on?
Just busy every day.
I can tell by your bio I just said, guys. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I do a lot. I do a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, you do it, but you do it at a high level. So, man, that's what's up. And I mean, lately, I've just been, watching you jet set and take these flights, living a celebrity life. I'm talking about Vegas for 24 hours to Dallas to, luxury dining and stuff. I mean, damn, can I hang out with you? Can I be down with you sometimes? I mean, what's up?
I feel like life is for the living. And if we wait, I mean, what are we waiting for? It's too much life to be lived for us to sit back and wait. So I'm just trying to get the most out of life.
Talk that talk. That's bar number one. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, I'm really excited to have you on here. I ain't gonna front though. Out of every single person I've had on here thus far, I'm the most nervous about having you on here.
Oh, really? Me? Why?
Because every time we talk and hang out, just background, you and my wife are like very good friends. And so when we get all the families together, we like to hang out from time to time. But when we get everybody together, there's at least one or two times where Aisha has to get me right and tell me to behave. It's the kids and myself that Aisha is usually having to keep in line. And so I'm like, man, I think she's going to try to get me together on my podcast. Oh, for real? Okay.
I'm gonna be a guest, the best guest you've ever had. I'm
I,
behaved.
yeah. Well, usually you're telling me to behave. Yeah. So I'm just really, again, very appreciative of you taking the time to speak with us today. Just talking about all those accolades and all your accomplishments is, I think, the first thing I'm really curious is to know is right now, how are you managing it all? How are you doing it all?
Leverage, right? So I have a team of people behind me that help me stand up to do all of the things that I do. That's amazing. I have a husband that is extremely supportive of all the endeavors that I have.
Shout out
And
Kevin.
honestly, I feel like none of the things that I'm able to do would be possible without my team, whether it's my team with my husband or the team that I have in my business.
Right. And let's talk about that because I mean, you have a very strong team here with Ayesha Shelton team, real estate team here in Houston with the Braden Group. I mean, and you guys are doing some phenomenal things. I believe, I mean, let's see here. It was since come on, where's the stats at? Since 2019, I think you've done what over 10 million in real estate. I mean, and you're kicking butt and taking names, and you're really bringing on people to your team and giving game and pouring into these people and helping those guys really get started. I mean, tell me about that because I mean, this team, the Aisha Shelton team, is fairly new, right?
It is. It
Mhm.
is. So 2020, what are we
Okay.
in? 2021. It's 2022.
Yeah.
Last year. Last year
Okay.
was when I first started this team, and I've
Really?
learned so many lessons from, the inception to where we are right now. But the one thing I learned is that I like to surround myself with people who want to win. I like to surround myself with people who are dreamers and doers. And so anybody who has come into my circle that is from the team perspective, that is very much interested in dreaming big and doing things big, then they're in the right place on my team.
Dope, dope, man. Yeah, because I mean, I see you guys, with with your postings and just the things you got going on in the closings, and it seems like you have a very strong team. Now, let's dig into that a little bit because, I mean, as I build my team, and I'm starting to notice how difficult that can be, and you're talking
Is
about yeah, and you're talking about major things like not to put words in your mouth, but really culture is what finding those right people for your team. And I guess let's hit on that. Like, how important is culture to you?
You know what? I think before, when you know that you have value to give,
Mhm.
if you stand firmly in that value, then the right people will come into your
Mm,
circle.
mm,
And when I first started, I didn't quite understand the value that I brought to agents that would be on my team, and it showed, right? And so now that I'm in a place, and I had to learn that over time. So I think that some of the people that I've lost on this team have been the greatest lessons that I've ever had. And
mm.
I'm grateful for each and every person that has come through, because I'm like, man, thank you so much for that. Now I know how to do this a little bit differently the next time I come across it. And so I I take everything as a lesson, and every person that I meet, I'm always asking God, like, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this situation? What am I supposed to learn from this person before, there's a transition?
Dope. Yeah, man, that's a bar right there. And you know what I always appreciate too is with all these wins, I mean, I always love how you, your husband, and as a business, you guys, 'cause there's so many wins you guys put up. I mean, every damn week I'm looking up, there's a win, win, win. But you guys are very transparent and keep it a buck about the lessons learned or the things that don't go right. And I mean, myself and my wife are able to take so much from some of those lessons that you all share. And yeah, I definitely appreciate that transparency. I mean, like, yeah, I don't even know if that's really a question, but it's just like in this day and age there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. And I mean, you guys definitely keep it a bean. So I mean, yeah, I mean, shout out to you guys for that.
I don't know. It's something about that smoke and mirrors, though. I'm like, man, we need more smoke and mirrors over here. Like, we're not doing this right, because the people that's doing it with smoke and mirrors are like doing it. So I don't
I mean,
know. I think
yeah,
balance. It's a
yeah,
healthy balance, right?
yeah. No, healthy balance for sure. But I mean, damn, like I said, you guys are transparent. Like I said, wins and and accomplishments every week. And so yeah, it's definitely something that's motivating and inspiring. So yeah, I mean, we've got the Ayesha Shelton team, we've got Park Street. And it's just like what I really wanted to ask you is, because I'm in a place where for my business, I'm still learning things out. It's actually three years this month. I've been full time. Shout out to that. But definitely still in the growth scaling mode. And although Park Street continuously is growing and scaling, it's like, you guys are a more established business. And I was just like, when you like, how long did it really take you? Because I was just thinking about my journey, and I get inspiration from the people around me and people that I know. How long did it really take you guys to kind of move out of that mode, or do you ever move out of that mode rather of like where it's kind of like, oh shit, like I'm like we're where I'm doing this, or are we really doing this, to like, hey, all right, this is what we're doing. We have a better feel and a little bit more out of the growth phase and more of an established, I guess a calmer, just a calmer mode to operate. Is it ever calm? Do you ever get to that point, or is it always like a little bit of that, oh shit, no matter what tier you're at in your business?
No. So no. So I think I'm at a calm right now, right? I'm at a calm. I could get on a plane and travel and know that things will be taken care of at a
Right.
calm. I'm at a calm where like I know that the bills are going to be paid and that the mortgage is good, kind of calm. And have I always had that calm? Yeah, I mean, you've been around long enough to know that no, that's not, I have not always had that calm, right? And so I like to think, when I think about when Kevin and I went full time in our business and we started Park Street, I mean, we had a lot of momentum. We were extremely optimistic and we did like this really quick rise. And then we learned some lessons and that kind of took us down. And then in that valley is where we learn more lessons. And then when I think about it, whenever Kevin talks about it, he's always like, yeah, we planned for this. We had this written down. It was going to look like this. And sure, we did. But when I recount the story, and it's always really cool to hear, the two sides of the coin and how we see different things. When I recount the story, I go, this was nothing but grace from some deity that cannot be explained. Because you know how if you're ever down and out and you're just like one deal away from it all being better, like if I just got this one deal. And for most people, like for the general population, it's the lottery, right? So people out paying a lot, like, man, if I win the lottery, I can buy my mom a house, I can pay off my student loans. Like you're making plans with that lottery money. And for us in real estate, it's like all we need is for this to happen, and then these things can happen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It was luck, it was preparation. It was where luck met preparation, and that was where the opportunity came for us. And so we're at this point, what we learned is that we're always trying to be in a place where we're always ready for whatever comes next, whatever that may be. And I'm open to whatever's next.
So I guess, is that the main lesson that you were talking about? That main lesson that you learned from that quick rise is just to be always be ready.
Oh, sir, I learned so many.
I mean, what's up? What we got? Please
Let's
drop
see,
these
so
gems.
many lessons. Cash flow is king, and
Talk
you
about it.
hear it all the time. And it makes so much sense until you don't utilize that principle, and you be like, hold on, where's the flow? Like, how, how does this keep going if there isn't if this steady flow of cash? And so there was that. There was, working with your spouse. Kevin and I work together every day, and how to manage that dynamic. That was tough, tough, tough. And so the one thing that I've realized when I sit back and I survey like my life and my business, all in all, I look back and I go, oh, I see why I had to go through that. And I see
Mhm.
why this had to happen. And I see the benefit of it. So I think that it's all about perspective. And if your perspective is one, when you look at a situation, regardless of how dismal it is, what
Mhm.
is it? What am I supposed to take away from this experience and put a positive spin on it? How can I positively utilize this experience, even if it's the worst thing, like bad? Okay. You can grow from it.
Right, but I mean, I agree 100%, but I'm really a believer, and not when it's happening, but I'm a true believer. Once you get on the other side of whatever trial or lesson it is, that shit is honestly for the better. I mean, because
Always.
right, because I think, you know, Park Street and where you guys are headed, I mean, and talking to your husband and his manifestation and things like, it's, you know, it's going to be something that's going to be around for generations, and already doing big things, but headed towards bigger things as you guys scale. But to get to that point, it's not going to be smooth sailing. And if it is smooth sailing, you're not going to be able to get to that. You have to be able to speak to different trials and things like that. I mean, it
Yep.
seems like you're shaking your head in agreement. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you read autobiographies of like the most successful people, like everybody has these stories of trials and then triumph, right?
Right.
So if anybody has a story of just triumph, then either you're doing it wrong, you're not maximizing, you're missing out on opportunities, or you just flat out capping.
Right.
Like, so
Talk that talk. That's
I'm just
exactly.
saying.
No, I mean, very honestly. So I definitely appreciate you guys, like again, for that transparency. I guess my next question is, when's the book? When you writing that book, Aisha?
Listen, it's a book. It is a book. There is a book.
Okay.
Books usually start right here, right? So it hasn't manifested yet, but I'm thinking it's a book about couples in real estate. So obviously, my people,
Yeah.
you'll be featured, but I think that that's a story that needs to be told, and everybody's story is different. And so right now, we get to tell those stories through our podcast on the Marriage and Real Estate podcast.
Shout out to the
But
podcast.
yep, let's go. Now we tell those stories through the podcast, but I think that it very much needs to be chronicled in a book so that people can identify with something or somebody on their journey in real estate.
Yeah, and let's talk about that podcast and just the whole marriage and real estate movement that you and your husband started. Very much necessary. I mean, just being around you guys in different settings, the main question is always like, you know, people gravitate towards you all, like, how do you guys do it? How are you guys doing this? How are you guys doing that? I mean, so very smart. I mean, now it seems like, oh yeah, it's definitely much, you know, a much needed platform. But what kind of sparked you all to really start that?
Let me tell you why. Kevin and I have the best conversations. You know what I mean? Like, whether that be a debate or we're working through how we should move in our business and our life or with our family. You know what I mean? If
Yeah,
it's insurance or if it's whether we should quit our job, like those conversations are usually so damn profound, right?
yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like, man, somebody needs to hear this. So yes,
Right,
somebody got to hear this, right? So that's
right.
how it started. It literally started with like, we really need to have these conversations so that other people can hear it. And what's the best way to do that than to put it out on the World Wide Web, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think um you all invited us to a ritual you all do every year at the beginning of the year. And I think it was for 2021, where you all had the open workshop at the office and you invited a few couples in and really just opened up and showed us how you guys prepare. And you know, that's why, again, you just touching on that preparation, you know, meets opportunity. You guys spent a lot of time and a lot of effort preparing, planning, very thought out and strategic on how you guys, you know, are going to approach everything in all aspects of your life for the year. And that was, man, I mean, I can't wait till you guys kind of open that thing up again and bring it on to more people, because you know, me my wife and I definitely came out of that that workshop. Super inspired. So man, shout out to you guys there. And yeah, I can't wait to see what else is coming from marriage and real estate. I'm gonna throw some shade on here since we know each other. I mean, we ain't been back since you guys had that, fly ass studio having everybody on he and ha ha and on the
Really?
podcast. I'm just
Really?
saying.
The one thing I could count on is James coming for me when we together. That's probably the one thing I can count on. You know what? I'll take it because she's strong. But you know what? We would love to have you guys back on the podcast. I think
Yeah.
we are pivoting the way that we are podcasting. And to be very transparent, we haven't mastered that part yet, right? Like it seems like you really have the podcasting down, the scheduling of guests and that kind of stuff. We're figuring it out and trying to get the right people in place. I have the resources and the people to make that thing a thing.
Yeah, you do.
And I've not done a great job at doing that, but we really want to pivot the podcast to be telling stories, couples coming on and telling their stories about real estate, how you got started, what are you doing now, what's your plan for the future, and revisiting those people
That'd be
throughout,
dope. Yeah.
and perhaps even traveling the country and talking to couples around the country that do this.
Dope.
Hashtag tax right off to travel.
Oh, I picked up on that. I heard it. But nah, yeah, that's dope. So yeah, I can't wait to see that as well. How many podcasts are you on, Aisha? You got another podcast too. What's the other one?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am also a co-host on the Selling Houston POV
Dope.
podcast
Super
with
dope.
some of my colleagues here at Braden Real Estate Group. So we get to have a good time on that podcast as well, talking about the real estate industry, real estate agency, real estate teams. We touch on a whole bunch of stuff and they're like super fired up. They're always on top of it. I have a good time with them. It's really just my opportunity to have fun personally.
Yeah, no, dope. Yeah, that's what I definitely love and enjoy. You guys are always looking to have fun, always having fun while taking care of business. So, nah, cool, cool. Shout out to that podcast as well. But yo, I got a quick question. So, there may be somebody out there that's going to be watching this, and it's like, man, they've seen you from the accomplishments and from this conversation, and they're wondering like, man, I want to get into that lane like Aisha. I mean, so someone who is interested in, kind of following in your footsteps, what kind of game can you give to someone out there listening to this that's like, hey, you know, I want to get started in real estate, whether it be starting a development company or starting their own real estate team, what's some advice you can give somebody out there that's 18 and looking to get started?
18. Whew. 18. All right. Okay. So at 18, at 18, I think it's important that you find the people who are doing what you think you want to do and spend some time with them and ask yourself, is this how you want to live your life? Right. Even at 38, you know what I'm saying? My thoughts are begin with the end in mind. And so when you're in real estate or in business or whatever it is that you're doing, look at the people who are doing it 20 years older than you and ask yourself if that's what you want your life to look like, right? So work backwards. When you get into a career or an investment, like what's the exit strategy and what you want your life to look like. And so it's like my husband, he at one point, now this has changed, at one point he wanted to take Park Street public and to be the first Black public nationwide builder, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay, but wait, what does that mean for your quality of life? Like, what kind of life will you have taking a company public? What does that mean for your children and your family, right? So my thoughts are, think about what you want the end game to be, and then reverse engineer what you want your life to look like, right? So we have to align, obviously, but I'm like, listen, I want to build all of these companies that we have so that they can be scalable. I want to scale them and sell them, right? And then I can do what I love and I can do what I want. You know what I enjoy these days? Venture capital. Like building businesses, getting businesses when they're small and investing in them and giving them the capital, not only the financial capital, but the social capital and the political capital to get where they need to go. And then when these companies blow up, I'm like on the back end cashing my money.
Talking about, nah, for real. while helping them out. That's interesting you say that. I've got a friend that's launching um minority-based VC firm right now.
Mhm.
So if you're interested, like to connect you guys. No, that's super dope. Yeah. It's really funny when you think about kind of how as you get older and you think about the quality of life, how those goals and those targets change. Mine have
Mhm.
definitely changed a lot. I think about, some of the conversations that I had with your husband. And I remember sitting at lunch. I think it was like, I don't know when he told you, but the epiphany he shared with me was like almost, I think, 2 months ago when he was like, yeah, I'm just thinking about quality of life. I don't think I want to go public anymore with Park Street. So, nah, that's funny. But let me ask you this. So, all right. So, surround yourself with the people and in the environments where you're seeing people excel in what you want to do. But let me ask you this. So, I'm very much a believer. I don't know how you feel that success leaves clues all the time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, I mean, somebody just running through your bio and they're like, really, they're trying to get to where Ayesha Shelton is. I mean, would you recommend, people to take, your same path?
I think that everybody has their own path. My strength and my wealth is in my relationships,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm extremely intentional about the relationships that I build, and I'm also intentional about nurturing those relationships too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my relationships have opened more doors than money could have, or a grand opportunity could have, or some kind of like, it's relationships that have allowed our business to grow. It's people who have earmarked things specifically for us because of the relationships that we build. That, in my opinion, is a form of wealth.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It absolutely is. I completely agree. I mean, can you share a little bit about because you've definitely talked about why those relationships are so important, but like how are you able to cultivate these, different things? Because we see, pictures with very, influential people within our community and city and surrounding areas. And I mean, and even in different cities, you guys are, very much, tapped into, very influential people. So tell how are you able to cultivate those relationships so
I
well?
think having a solid brand, and following through on the things that we say that we'll
Mm-hmm.
do, coming with a heart of service and giving, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think the reciprocity is important too. And so you give, when you give, then you are so inclined to receive back. So we give more than we receive, and we
Yeah.
reap the benefits of that.
Dope. Yeah. Yeah. No. And you guys have definitely, we've already talked about a little bit in your intro, but definitely a focus is, in the community and giving back and being involved. I mean, so many things you're doing. And I really am interested to hear about this new affordable housing. And so, yeah, I guess, I take you guys and what you guys got going on for granted. So I haven't really dived into that. I've seen the talks about it, and I've been meaning to, next time we sit down and kind of ask you about it, but ain't no time like the present. So can you really tell us about that affordable housing project and what that's all about?
Sure. So one of our very first developments was in South Union here in Houston, an area that truly, if you would have seen it 2.5 years ago, you would have thought, nah, I'll see it for this area. Definitely blighted land, dumping on the empty land. Nobody would have even thought to come into this area. And Kevin saw a vision. And even when he drove me through, I was like, oh no. But I also I also trust the man that I married wholeheartedly, right? So I was
Right.
like, cool, I'm gonna take this ride with you. And it's just amazing to see what has happened in that community since we have come in and developed. Other developers have come behind us, bringing more housing to the area. But with that development and redevelopment comes the push out of affordable housing for people that already live there, right? So the property taxes are going to go up. The affordability of their home is going to increase because we're bringing these new doors into this community. The people that we serve really look like us. So I
Man.
care. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not easy for me to come into a community, extract the value, and then keep it moving because I've gotten what I've needed from it.
Mm,
It's people that look like my grandmother, my aunts, my cousins that live in this community, right? And so how can we add value and give back? And so strategically partnering with organizations such as Midtown Redevelopment and CCPPI, Google it, I don't remember what it means, but partnering with these organizations that allow us to purchase land at a reduced cost, then we can pass those savings off to the consumer and provide affordable housing to people. So not only is the housing affordable, but now you have a brand new home that's comparable to the new homes that are in the community at an affordable rate. And so we can keep people that are from the community in the community. So
man.
it's so necessary, like so super necessary. Interest rates, I mean, you just saw the rate hike that happened yesterday,
Right.
historic rate hike,
Right.
right? Prices of homes are going up tremendously, inflation. It's just real bad out here, right? And so the one thing that I'm sure of is that the government is going to make a move to ensure that people have housing. So it's really twofold. We help people, and that definitely comes from the heart. But as a for-profit business, there's some profit in there as well. And so making sure that we make a market resilient business is also very important to what we do.
Right. No, and that's dope. I mean, because it's, it's definitely something you guys are passionate about and obvious just hearing how you speak to it. And you guys are intentional and about what you guys are doing within the community. I mean, because you guys, Park Street, could just, like you're saying, just build $1 million luxury properties all day if you wanted to, but just hearing
Yeah,
about that, huh? She
and
said,
did.
oh yeah, and yeah, no, I'm saying, yeah, you guys, do that, and you guys do that well. But just to see how, you're like, no, this is something we're going to do within our community is, man, it's dope, and I'm just, that's it's truly an inspiration. So no, thank you guys for that. So salute. Yeah, for sure, for sure. You kind of already talked about the economy overall, kind of interest rates and how they're hiking, and the housing market as we see it here recently. As a real estate agent, what are your thoughts and how are you approaching that? I mean, I see so many people talking about the interest rates and talking to their network and kind of pivoting and strategizing on how they're going to approach this. I mean, what are you communicating to your clients, your team? Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. So I think that it's really a case by case basis, right? Even my clients today, like currently that are under contract and they're freaking out about the interest rates, I have to remind them like your situation is different from everybody else's, right? You have enough capital and cash to buy down your interest rate to get back to where you want to be. This is a big deal for a lot of people, but is it a big deal for you? And with each client, if it is a big deal for you, then we need to strategize and talk about what that looks like. The one thing I'm very sure of is that regardless of what's happening in the economy, people are going to buy houses, people are going to sell houses. It doesn't stop. Real
Right.
estate doesn't stop. It keeps going. And so it's relationships. When you're rich in relationships, you can still have business. When you are, it may not come like manna, like it's been coming lately, right?
Right.
Everybody's buying because interest rates are low. We have to do something different. So it's about pivoting. And it's also about listening to the opportunity, what opportunity lies in this time right now. And if we're only listening to the news and we're only listening to social media channels, then you quite naturally will freak out. And so I'm listening to people like Robert Kiyosaki. Well, what's he
Mm,
saying? Like, what should we be doing? I'm listening to people like Grant Cardone. What's Grant Cardone doing? What are the people doing that are really doing it? Not the
mm-hmm.
people like me that's just trying to figure it out. I'm like, they haven't figured out. I want to do a version of what it is that they're doing.
Right. Right. No. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's great advice. Yeah. Look at the people who are winning, and take from them. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, is it the same advice for the new agents? I mean, because again, if you were an agent like a year and a half ago, particularly on the listing side, it was super sweet. But
Yeah.
I mean, now it's like, it's gonna it's still things are going for over ask, but what are you really telling your new agents and people out there who are coming to you for advice? You don't really have to say like the detailed strategy there, but I mean, what are you telling your agents?
I would say welcome to real estate. Like we've been in a very beautiful
That's
place.
so harsh.
But truly is right.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the market that we've seen in the last 2 to 3 years with those very low interest rates, that's not typical, right?
right.
And plenty of agents, there's agents that have been in this industry for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and they're still here. They've been through so many different market cycles. So yes, it was easy.
Right,
And that was great. But now it's time to get back to the basics of real estate. So
right,
no longer can you get on social media and twirl around in a new construction house and get leads that way,
right,
right?
right.
You now have to do the real work of real estate. So that's prospecting, that's following up with people, that's building relationships and nurturing your pipeline effectively. You just can't, it's just not going to fall from the sky these days.
Mm.
That's what real estate agents really do. That's what the agents of 6 years ago did, the agents of 10 years ago did, and those tried and true principles still work.
Yep, yep. So ultimately saying, get your ass to work. It's time to
Let's
work.
go. We got this. And
Yeah,
also we got this, right? Like
right.
it's, or do we have this? Are you ready to work? Are you ready for the work? Because now we really have to build those tried and true principles that actually work in real estate. So
Yeah. Man, okay. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit because, like I said, Aisha, I see you guys all over the place, and I literally see you like Jetson. I see you. I'm like, oh, okay, she's in Vegas now. She's out in Dallas, and she's moving around. Oh, she's back in Houston. I mean, like with the work life balance. I mean, is there any work life balance? Because I mean, you're constantly working. You have so many hats that you wear. So many. I mean, because I was just thinking about the jobs that I mean the companies that you own. But I mean, let's talk about the jobs and your involvement within all these different communities and board chairs and those things of that nature. I mean, is there any work-life balance for Ayesha Shelton at this point?
yeah, because it just looks different from everybody else's, right? So that's why a midweek 24-hour trip to Vegas works well, because I don't have to ask anybody if I can be off. I don't
Mm,
have to wait until the weekend. You
mm,
know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's like, look, it's like I told my friend, you got money, you got time, you got flexibility. What are we waiting for? Let's go. You know what I
Mm,
mean? When you're an entrepreneur, you can't, and you found that sweet spot in your business where you can leave for a period of time and know that things can still be taken care of. And I mean, we always have these things and,
right.
laptops and electronics that we can still be connected, but we now have the real wealth is your time freedom. It's not just money,
Talk
right? You
about it.
working very hard and have a bunch of money, but we need to live while we have time. Otherwise, we work all of this time, and then by the time we have the money that we think we're supposed to have, the travel and the fun and all of that, past that.
Right, right. And just from like I said, my little time being a full-time, person in my business, what I've learned, Aisha, because it's just been literally more so I've had some virtual assistants and stuff, but like a one-man show up until maybe, I don't know, uh 4 or 5 months now. I mean, and it's because it's just like, man, that you can only go so far, with that, at that speed, at that rate. And so, man, what I'm learning is like you're saying, leverage of people, but systems,
Yes.
systems,
Mhm.
systems, systems. I mean,
Mhm.
oh my, like if you really take the time to get off the hamster wheel, take that 30,000 foot view and work on a system and maybe sacrifice a day or two or whatever how long to create that system, you're going to save yourself so much time. And to that statement you say what do you think about that?
About systems.
Absolutely,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I mean, yes, I'm the Holy Grail. The one thing I would say is
Yeah.
that if you haven't done it yet, and you find yourself struggling to do it,
Hmm.
then it may make sense for you to outsource it. And that's kind of where I am, right? Because how long have we been talking about this, James? How long have we been talking about creating these systems? And so when you recognize that the stopgap is you, instead of trying to improve you, redirect that energy to somebody who does this. I mean, there are people who eat systems for lunch. Like
Right.
they look at stuff and their brain just puts it all together and moves it around like a puzzle. You're like, man, that was so easy for you. I'm
Right.
looking for that person. I'm looking for somebody who can come into my organization and see that. So I don't know if they're on Upwork. I don't want to pay a lot of money, a lot of money,
Me neither.
but there's Upwork, there's Fiverr, and it's kind of like dating. You have to, test a few people out to find that right person for
Right.
what you're looking for. But at this point, for the systems, the one thing I recognize is that either I need to buy it, like somebody's already figured it out and they're selling it, which I just purchased something recently. And because, we always buying stuff, and then
Yes,
and
you
then
are.
finding somebody to put them in place, right, to implement that. So leverage the people that I have on my team to assist in the implementation of those systems.
Dope, man. Yeah. That's what, yeah. I'm getting off of that, like me, well, my background being, in cash flow management and things of that nature, I'm just like very, very stingy. I could have, in the past. And now I'm just like, I can hire that person, pay it out. And it's just like, and
And keep it moving.
keep it moving. But you're doing it right. You're able to maintain the net profit, and you're getting back your time or increase that profit, and you still have your time, have that peace of mind, because with that other time you can be doing other things that you enjoy, and whether it be in your business or not. So man,
Yeah, here's the
yeah,
most profound thing I'll say. The
let's
most
go.
profound thing I'll say is is just because you can doesn't mean that you should. So
Uh,
you probably do a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that you should. What's the cost? What's the opportunity cost of you trying to do it, of you figuring out how to do it, of you like wasting time saying, I'm gonna do it, and the time between you actually getting it done and you're gonna do it. So, I mean, you're capable of so many things, but should you be doing it?
Talk to it, man. I feel like this is a therapy session for me. I feel so selfish right now. Let me let's get out of
Look,
this, because you are talking to me directly, man. Nah, for sure, for sure. With that being said about systems and leveraging people, are there any other major productivity hacks that you're probably using in your business?
Google Workspace and all that it has to offer. So I recently went down a wormhole of inbox zero and how to get there, and how you can use virtual assistants and people to manage your inbox efficiently and effectively. And so I've just been floored with the integrations that are available through Google, and how you can make your life so much easier, communicate with people more effectively, and also have like literally emails answered on your behalf without giving someone access to your full email. It's just amazing what happens in Google. Yeah,
Okay,
call me on the sideline. I'll tell you about it.
got to. No, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I just cleaned out my inbox, and you don't even want to know what that number was at. So no. So no, I'm definitely gonna have to hit you up about that. Or my wife, and not to get off on a tangent, but you guys are very much enablers of each other, and in the sense of like, you got this productivity hack. Da, da, da. I like, you know, it's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna do it. You gonna do it. I mean, so yeah, it'll eventually probably trickle down this way
Yeah,
to
we sip
me.
the same Kool-Aid for sure. Definitely sip the
So
same Kool-Aid.
I mean, talking about, I guess my wife and you guys have something called like a morning club or something you guys do. Is
4
it
a.m. 4
the
a.m.
4 a.m.
club.
club? Yeah. And so, uh, with that being said, I'm really just everyone I have on here, I'm really interested to hear about their morning routine. And I know part of it is just getting on the phone and chit chat. No, but I think you guys do more than chit chat. I go just say, put that on y'all. But what does your morning look like? I mean, you've got some little ones. And it's very busy. I can only imagine the responses to the different companies. Um, like what does that really look like for you? So I know it's you guys are up early, but kind of walk me through that because I'm definitely a believer that you really can win your day in the morning just about how you wake up and then, approach your day. So how does Aisha Shelton approach her morning?
Cool. So let me not cap for the internet.
Yeah.
There's this ideal self, then there's like reality.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna be completely transparent. And here lately, I am waking up earlier than normal for most people, but then I fall victim to the social media trap, right? So you roll over, you pick up that phone and you get to scrolling, and then you look up and at least an hour has passed, but you've been entertained. And so that's kind of the tough spot that I've been in now. When I think about my ideal morning, I'm doing Miracle Morning. I think it's
Yeah, yeah, I got it. Yeah, the book. Yeah, Hal Elrod. You're right. Yep.
Hal Elrod, yeah. And so the my most efficient self, the most efficient Aisha, and I've done this in periods of my life off and on. When I've been my best self, I did Miracle Morning, right? So
Yes.
yes, yes, and yes.
Yes.
So if you're asking me today, what do? I literally wake up early. That's true, and waste a lot of time. But if you ask me who I want to be and who I've been in the past when I've been my best self, I did the Miracle Morning.
Yo, I appreciate that so much because man, you definitely always, like I said, you always keep it a buck. And that's true. I mean, IG is probably one of my biggest time sucks. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, okay, so for you as well. But no, man, it's so interesting, Aisha, because whether it be me and Kev doing 75 hard or me doing the miracle morning, man, when I'm vibrating on that level, things just seem to click.
They
And
do.
it's like, why is that? Because I think it's just more than the physical. It's like something, I guess, spiritual energy, something going on there that yeah, I really can't put my finger on. And I don't know what's your thoughts about that.
But if it works, my thoughts are, if it works, like, why are we not doing it more often? But honestly, if it were that easy, then everybody would do it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, because again, for people who may have not know about the miracle morning, it's a daily routine where you wake up and you really take time for yourself before really going about your day and letting outside things really address you address them or uh, take away from your attention. So it's really about meditation, journaling, exercise, things of that nature, just really things that get your mind right. And so yeah, it's all that shit is it sounds good, but there's just days depending on like how late you were up the day before, maybe working, or tonight, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna watch game 6 of the finals and I might have something to sip. So I mean, my wife, not say better, but my wife is not gonna should not expect me to be up early doing miracle morning tomorrow. So I mean, it's just those kind of things are in the way. But yeah, it's definitely not easy. But I think consistency in whatever you're doing is a key to success. So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So yo, I mean, I want to know, yeah, like I said, when we get together, you are very much intimidating me to get me to act right, me and the kids. And so, I mean, Aisha has different facets to her. Some people may know her as a businesswoman, or as the, family member, or someone from IG. What are maybe some misconceptions that you maybe heard in the past about yourself that you're like, oh no, that's not me at all, that you may get about Aisha?
That I have it all figured out, or that I have it together, and it is so far from the truth. And I want to meet the person who does. One
Right,
of the
right.
things that I value about my relationship with Rachel and some of the other friends that I have is that we get to be purely authentic. And so, for the stage, we have to always be ready and always be on. But for the people that are in our inner circle and that we're close to, they know our flaws, and they are a safe space for them. You know what I'm saying? In a world where you have to portray perfection, I feel like it's so important to have people that you can be completely imperfect with and they still love and respect you the same.
No, no doubt. Yeah. And again, yeah, shout out to you guys for that. And yeah, it's just, it's why is that? I mean, because we all, I guess fall victim to it at some point. And I think social media is the reason for some of that. It's like when you look down, everybody's winning and everybody's always winning. And it's like, but I'm genuinely happy to see wins for people.
Absolutely.
And you guys are, as well, you guys definitely love to celebrate other people's wins. That's one thing. You and Kevin, you guys are posting accomplishments of others, that are doing stuff in the community as well. But I guess it's like, you know, I, you know, why is that? Is it maybe because, for one, nobody wants to see somebody get on there and bitch about, the sappy, their losses and things like that, or their feelings. But at the same time, I guess, why isn't that, more of a, I guess, the sharing the, hey, this was, a lesson that I've learned, and this is how I learned it, and this is kind of, how I'm going to get better from it. But it just seems like it's either a lot of winning or a lot of capping on social media, and everybody's just kind of, you know trying to outdo each other. I don't know why that is. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. Just kind of random thought.
I just feel like it's what people want and need to see,
Yeah.
right? Specifically in business and in our line of business, if it looks like you're winning, then people want to work with you. So whether you're truly
Yes.
winning or truly successful in that space or not, people are drawn to that. And
Yeah.
so, Kevin and I struggle with that a lot. It's like, do we share all of our wins with people, or do we kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a new car. Didn't you just get a new car? Did you just get a new car?
Did
Did you
I?
just get a new? Yeah. No,
No.
you didn't. Okay, I got a new car. However, I could not bring myself, you know how when people get new cars and they put them on social media, they do like a whole little video or reel of them in their new car and how they work hard and leveled up. And I'm just like, oh, it just feels so inauthentic to me. I just can't do it, right?
Right.
And all of those things are true. I have leveled up, I have grown in my business, but I cannot be like, look at me in this new whip. I don't know. It's just
Right.
it's hard.
I hear
But
you.
people see that as success, right?
Right. Right.
People see people see when people see you in that and doing those things, are like, oh, this person is successful, or oh, this person does this well. I don't know.
No, I'm completely 100% with you. And yeah, I struggle with that as well, because I think, to me, is like, I'm consistently doing business, and like, if I just talked about every single deal, pardon me, if I talk about every single deal that I do and post checks, to me, that shit makes me want to vomit. I'm not interested in doing that at all. But that stuff will kind of get you business. And in my line of work, in the acquisition
Mhm.
side of, of properties and deals, that is kind of the norm, but I have no interest in doing so. So I'm like, damn, I kind of struggle with, man, should I be looking like I'm doing more?
Yeah.
Because it looks like, I don't know if I look like I'm doing much at all. But then, to me, it's just like, it always goes back to whatever you do, like, act like you've been there before. That's kind of
Yeah.
where I take it from. It. So it's just like, oh, do I need to post everything? Like, no. But
Yeah.
but again, I'm not mad, especially when people post and it's like, it's sometimes you can kind of feel their caption. They're like, glory to God, I've been through this, and this. And it's a
Yeah.
testimony for them. Salute to it. I'm just saying, like, me personally, I can't really go there.
It's a tough field. One of my friends says we're in a feel good business, and it's true. And so, are we making people feel good? Are we is what is the content that we're putting out making them feel good? And
Right.
honestly, them seeing you post checks and closing deals makes them feel good. They're like, oh man, this the man right here. So
Right, right, right. And then, yeah, like anytime, yeah, I might post something like, at the closing table, because sometimes there are testimonies from me. 'Cause I for damn sure didn't think I was gonna get that deal done. It was gonna fall apart.
yeah.
Um, But then, yeah, I'll get like, just the random DMs like, hey, are you taking mentees or do you have a mentor program and all that? Like, no, I don't, but there's plenty of people out there who do. So, but I was really just curious about, why it is, I guess our generation and your take on it, like, it just seems like it's a whole bunch of winning. It's like, you know, for as much winning we all do, we all got to take some L's. Everybody's like we just talked about. That's kind of how we get to those big wins. So
Yeah.
interesting. Aisha, let's talk about mentors. Like you said, I know that your relationships are a big time commodity for you guys, and you guys value them very well. You guys, reciprocity as well. Just as much as people pour into you, you pour into other people. But mentorships, as you guys being a mentor, having mentors, um, what does that currently look like for you, and how do you go about doing that?
So I'm a firm believer in paying for people's time. So coaching has been just a level up for me for sure, right? And if I could pay somebody to learn my mistakes instead of learning them on my own, paying to learn them on my own, that's my preferred mode of lessons, right? So it's like, if I'm thinking I'm going to go in this direction and somebody says, man, I probably shouldn't do that because X, Y, Z, 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 they can see further than I can,
right,
then I'm definitely aim for that. But from a mentorship standpoint, we've all had people come and ask us, can we mentor them? And really, I want people to understand that a mentorship relationship is a reciprocal one, right? So find way that you can add value to me so that I can pour into you. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It's not just I give you all that I have and you just receive, you know what I mean?
Right.
So in regards to mentorship, either I'm paying for it, and if I'm paying for it, I just want you to pour into me, or I'm saying like, hey, here's a value that I can add to you. Could you add value to me as well?
Right. And I don't want to get on a soapbox and seem like I'm talking shit or anything, but just a tip. And I had to get this point, and I learned as I kind of get a little bit further down in my business, that sending that message, hey, can I pick your brain over coffee? It's like, yo, don't buy me no more fucking coffee. I'm sorry. Don't do it. Yeah. Bring something else. And I appreciate it. And I know it comes from, a genuine place, but it's almost disrespectful, with everything people got going on, to ask somebody, can I pick your brain?
I think it's just consideration that you may not understand because you
Right.
have a lot of time or you have a lack of knowledge. But for people who are as busy and as progressive as we are, we don't have time. So I don't have time for coffee unless there's some serious value being added. I am going to make time for coffee if there's value to be had, but I can't make time for coffee. Like, my time is literally my money. It's my like, my time is my commodity, right? Like, that's important. And so to get up out of my office and go to a coffee shop and spend, like, all of that is you're asking me for a lot of money. So you might as well just ask me to write you a check for my time. And I charge, a pretty penny for that.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Not today's price. Y'all saw the interest rate, right?
Talk about it. Yeah, and I'm glad you cleaned that up and said it a lot more elegantly than I did. But yes, it's true. Like I said, it's just, it's a sitting down with somebody with everything we got going on, from the kids to businesses to all these different aspects of our life. It's really difficult. And it's not saying that our time is more important than yours. It's just saying, like, we really have to be strategic to how we navigate our 24 just to get everything done. And so no, I definitely appreciate you saying that. And I mean, for you, with somebody looking at this, like, all right, cool, damn, I can't just send her a DM saying to pick her brain. So how can somebody really bring value to you? What does that look like for you, Aisha?
How can somebody bring value to me? That's a good question that I don't have the answer to. If there was nothing else I had an answer to in this interview, that one I don't have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because my
Uh-huh.
time is so precious. When I have free time, it's for like my kids because I've been traveling a lot. You know what I mean? It's for my husband because he's been needing my attention. You know what I mean? Like when I have time, there's a hierarchy of people who get it first, you know what I mean? And so with as busy as we are, I mean, even for myself, like that 30 minutes for a cup of coffee, I probably need to be with a personal trainer, working off my little food baby I got going on here.
Chill out.
My time is so like, sometimes I'm offended. I'm like, oh, you know how busy I am? Like, I don't have time for just chit chat anymore. And I think people kind of miss the boat because there was a time in my life and in my career where I'm like, oh yeah, I talk to anybody. And I just don't have it anymore.
Yo, and I was the same way. Like, I tried to, but yeah, it's getting to the point to where I really can't. And I like I said, I hope it doesn't come off a certain way because I mean, I actually been on the other side of that coin. We seen some like, God damn, like they can't just get back to me. It don't take nothing but a message. But like a lot of times, if you've got so much stuff going on, it is literally difficult, believe it or not, to go through and sit down to address a question, an email, whatever that may be. So yeah, it is that difficult. I mean, because I literally have files in my bag that I've been carrying around for the last 3 days because this person is looking to get with me and send me some quotes and some stuff. So I've just have not. I've been like, hey, I'm gonna scan it to you. I'm gonna scan it to you, but it's just the time has not been there. It sounds crazy, but I'm just saying. I said all that to say, like, hey, I'm starting to see it and get it now. Like when people don't get back to you, I
Yeah.
completely understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. No, I mean, I think we're kind of hitting the hour mark roughly. I do want to be respectful of your time, but before we get out of here, is there anything from anything in this conversation that you wanted to maybe we haven't touched on that you'd like to state or talk about or at all before we get out of here?
I would just say when I look at the success that I've had in my life, it's because of the relationships that I've built, and I'm a true proponent of relationship capital and how that can really take you and your business to the like next level. And so give with intention to people, but intentionally move about this world with the relationships that you build as well.
Mm, bars,
Thank,
bars. Love it.
thank you.
Yeah, and so in all of these episodes, I like to, really end the conversation with just that question, when it's all said and done, what do you want Aisha Shelton to be remembered for?
I would like to be remembered for my impact, right? My impact with the work that I've done. And now that I think about it, that probably sounds so horrible since I'm a mother, right? Like I want to be known for, making great kids and that kind of thing. I I want my kids to be amazing too, and hope that I'm a good example of that to them. And so they go out into the world and make an impact as well. But I want to be remembered for, the impact that we made in this city, for the impact that we make in this state, and, who knows what else.
Dope, dope. I think that legacy and that impact is already there. But the great thing is, you guys are, just getting started. When you think about it, it's crazy. Literally, Park Street has been around for 6 years, and you guys got, a lot left in the tank. So I think the city of Houston is, very much appreciative, and the communities that you guys are impacting. So no, Aisha, I really do appreciate your time because, as we've already talked about, your time is very much uh, a commodity. So for you to take the time out, sit here and kind of rap and with me and give game is very much appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, no, also too, yeah, Aisha, if somebody does want to reach out to you because don't want to get that misconstrued, Aisha is very much personable
Yeah.
and she, she is always down to help when she can, wherever she can. So Aisha, how can people actually get a hold of you?
Yes. So I can be reached at Ayesha Shelton on Instagram,
Mhm.
LinkedIn, Facebook, maybe even Twitter, and AishaShelton.com.
Dope, dope. Yeah. And I will put your Aisha at Aisha Shelton. Well, your IG handle. I
Yeah.
forget. Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So I will put that, pardon me, at the on this episode at the bottom. So no, Aisha, I definitely appreciate it. I know you got to get out of here. So no, this has been another great episode of Masterminds with James Allen. You can check us out every Thursday for new episodes. We greatly appreciate it. And all right, guys, we're out. Peace.